My name is Stephen Earp, and I founded a nonprofit called Finding God Online. So my contact information is up there. We're going to be talking about nonprofits and social media. Largely, what Finding God Online does is we do marketing that accelerates disciple-making movements globally. So if you think about, if you don't know what a disciple-making movement is, you can look that up. You just Google it, DMM. But think about a social movement that in many places, in many parts of the world, it's underground. Perhaps it can't be public. So we're talking about spiritual, social movements. We have grown our own social media platforms to over in excess of 8 million followers on different platforms. And so what I want to do in this session, and that's the reason people ask me to speak, is because of that. So what I want to do during this session is share some things that I've learned by growing social media accounts to in excess of 8 million followers. But before that, I want to tell a little bit about my own story with respect to how I got where I am. I have a long background in business and marketing. I've been a pastor. I was a pastor for many years. For 21 years, I was a lead pastor. I've done church planting, and if you're not in the church world, church planting is basically like spiritual entrepreneurship. So if you're in business and you're in ministry, then a lot of times church planting will be kind of where you go with that. And I've been a church planting strategist in a number of different environments. I married when I was 17 years old, and I don't recommend that, by the way. That was a joke, right? It was funny. Also, I have 5 kids, and I don't recommend that either. That's good. That's good. You knew that one was a joke. I did like what Ray said about the empty nest thing, because actually, tomorrow I will actually officially be an empty nester. My 5 kids, yeah, I know, right? So, now. I do not, however, want you to think about me running naked through my house like we just did Ray. So I will not make any reference to anything that inappropriate. But anyway, I'm sort of excited about that. My wife's here with me. We're newlyweds, so we've been married just 4 months now. So she's somewhere. There she is, over there. So, yeah. That's notable for reasons you'll find here momentarily. But in 2007, so I got married when I was 17, and my wife and I, we were married for 28 years. In 2007, she was diagnosed with a tragic illness. She was 33 years old, and we did everything, all the things you're supposed to do. I mean, spiritually speaking, we prayed, we believed God would heal her, we anointed her with oil, we brought her before elders and every other type of faith healer you could. We ate all of the things you're supposed to eat. We did all of the research and all of these things. And honestly, I unapologetically stand before you today and say I'm utterly and absolutely in love with Jesus. And I'm confident that he is fully capable of healing. But in our case, that is simply not what we experienced in the way we wanted to see it. And so I was caring for her for a number of years. In 2013, produced a faith-based film called Where Was God? You can see there, the next slide. You can see it for free, wherewasgod.com. Some of you may have seen it. It has to do with the Moore tornado of 2013. And so it was had a regional theatrical release, and then went to Netflix. And so basically chronicled the spiritual and emotional recovery of some people that experienced tragedy. In 2015, I wrote a book called Storms of Life, Learning to Trust God Again. And so really dealing with this concept, a recurring theme in our lives of seeing hurting people and trying to intersect that with the heart of God, right? Finding the needs. I like what Tim talked about earlier, what he's doing. What is he doing with Not Your Average Joe? Finding needs and then finding opportunities to meet those needs. And so this is what we invested much of our lives doing. In 2017, my wife ended up being bedbound, fully bedbound. So I went home. I was probably 42 years old. I ended up going home to take care of her 24/7. She couldn't get out of bed. all the things that you can have done for you, she had to have done for her. And so here I was in my house. I'm an over-the-top extrovert. Spiritually speaking, my primary gifts were in evangelism, okay, which is kind of, sharing the good news, bringing new people in, if you're not familiar with that language. And then I also had this entrepreneurial disease of starting new things. But I'm within the four walls of my house, and so I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do now? Here I am. And so we had a limited social media following on one of our Where Was God pages from the movie. And I thought, well, I'm going to go on there, and I'm going to start talking to people. And I didn't sleep well. I was taking care of my wife, and I just started testing all kinds of content and posting rhythms and engagement and how do you engage. I ended up running ads on social media in every country you can run ads on Facebook, and many countries that you can run ads on Google and YouTube. I tried Twitter, running ads on Twitter and things like this. So over time, within about 6 months, some of the platforms that I was running, they grew to in excess of 2 million followers. And I was engaging with people daily, and I was just trying to encourage people. I was talking to people in some of the hardest war-torn places in the world and just trying to give them some kind of encouragement, some kind of hope. You know what I'm saying? Some kind of smile, some kind of light in the darkness. And so this is what I did. I spent my days doing this. I spent my nights doing this. Over time, we were contracted by different missions agencies. So someone asked me earlier, Jennifer, with Beautiful Dream, asked me earlier, how did you get into this? And I would say, I really, when you're finding, I like what Ray talked about with your purpose and your passion and things like this. There's just certain things in life that you are designed for. Right? And everything in your life kind of points to that one thing. And for me, this has been it. Everything in my life was kind of pointing to this. And so I continue to share good news online and testing. We started consulting with different missions agencies from my home. We founded FindingGodOnline.com on 2018. And then for 5 years, I cared for my wife. On Christmas Eve 2020, she finally passed away. And this was after me barely leaving my home for almost 5 years. And at that moment, it was like the lights were turned out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everything sort of went silent for me. Like, I'm the same person and I have the same passions, but it's almost like the dark night of the soul had crept up behind me and covered me in ways I had not expected before. And I still was and am positive, Entrepreneurs are all glass half full, right? The idea that tomorrow will be better than today, and I still believe that with every part of who I am. But there are some parts of me that it sort of looks at the world in a little bit of a sober way, sober but encouraged. Here's what I've learned. One thing I've learned, this has nothing to do with social media, but one thing I've learned is as you grow and mature emotionally speaking, you can experience happiness and sadness both at the same time. Our kids need to know that. You should write that down, by the way, because our kids need to know that. They need to know that it's okay to be happy and sad at the same time. You can be hopeful about tomorrow and realistic about the pain you've experienced at the same time. You're welcome. That was a bonus, That was a bonus. No. I have one guy on the front row, and he's like, that was awesome. That was awesome. So, soon after my wife's passing, I ended up with more time to travel and train and shining more light in more dark places. And think of some of the work we do digitally speaking. Think about some of the most tragic things you hear about in the world. We are working in all of those countries. Wherever you've heard of some news article or something happening in some hard place, we have some presence going on there. We're working with some agency, some NGO that's feeding people or serving people or something like that. So we consult with agencies like that. So I had many more opportunities to travel, and again, doing marketing to accelerate disciple-making movements globally. So largely what we do is we try to take the best strategies, the best digital strategies and help to assimilate them for culturally relevant ways of like using organic reach and also using paid reach on social media in order to help these missions organizations get their message of good news out to these people. If you're very familiar with the Bible at all, just from a secular perspective, the Bible is the best-selling book of all times. And what largely led to the common man having access to it was an entrepreneur. The invention of what? The printing press. Listen carefully. Social media is the most powerful tool since the invention of the printing press to get the Bible into the hands of common people. There's never been anything like it before. Not at any point in time in history have we ever seen anything like that. And some of you are thinking, yeah, but I'm not here to learn how to get the Bible into the hands of common people. Social media is also the best opportunity in history for anyone in marketing or communications of any kind to promote their ideas online. There's never been anything like this before. We are living in a world where you can access millions and millions and millions of people. If you have money, great. Spend lots of money on social media. If you don't have money, fine. Use time. If you don't have time, use creativity. If you don't have creativity, like figure out one of them, okay? Like get the money or get the time or get the creativity. We got to work with something, okay? So with that being said, I'm going to share, and I just talked to some of my colleagues yesterday, and I said, what are the biggest things we've learned from working with these millions of followers on social media? I'm just going to throw stuff out at you. I've got 16 things that we wrote down, and then I'm going to stop, and if you have questions, we'll ask questions. But these are literally from my team, some things that we've learned, some mistakes people have made. If you're ready, say I'm ready. Here we go. Here we go. Here's what I've learned working running social media pages with millions of followers. First, what works changes quickly. How does it change? How fast does it change? Whatever's working today will not be working in 3 months from now. Okay? What's working in social media and what's working today? Well, here, this is not in my notes either, but like vertical videos is what's working right now, okay? Everybody wants to compete with TikTok, okay? Every platform. So get good at vertical videos. And if you say, how do I get good at vertical videos? Well, like, go to YouTube and search, how can I get good at vertical videos? And then watch a lot of them. And that's how you can learn, okay? Vertical videos, Reels on Facebook, Reels on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts are bonkers right now. Like YouTube Shorts are going crazy, okay? So a year from now, will it be that way? I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't know, okay? Next is utilizing newest features often gives the best results. Every part of the world, this is what we see. Let me tell you something we learned from working in different countries. All of the social media platforms roll out different functions in different places at different times. So if you're working in multiple countries, you can see changes that are coming. So it's amazing. I was in French-speaking West Africa just 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they just now rolled out Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels there. And I was like, guys, you have to get on this yesterday. You have to get on it yesterday. Because in the West, like the United States and Western Europe, Reels are going crazy right now, and Facebook is going to continue to promote that. All right, next. Millions of followers does not necessarily equal success. Don't get hung up on the metrics of how many people are following your page. You want to figure out what your KPIs are, your key performance indicators, and do not let social media hijack that. Don't let anyone tell you that watching views on a video or people liking your page, those things do not matter unless it adds to your bottom line in your business. It makes no difference, okay? Unless it's leading to that. Next thing we've learned is you can't stop for some period of time and then expect to pick it right back up where you left off. In many cases, we've seen large organizations who will be just, running hard on social media, and then they'll stop for 2 or 3 months, and they think, well, we're just going to get right back at it. And it's like not only does the momentum slow down, but sometimes it's like you might want to think about starting a new page. Sometimes we've seen that. So that's a hard deal. Now, I'm not suggesting that you start a new page. I'm just telling you there's urgency of at least posting something and staying relatively consistent on your pages. You get it? All right, when I say get it, you say got it, okay? Get it? Good. All right, next slide. How am I doing on time? I'm doing mediocre on time. Okay. Here we go. This is number, I don't know what. Consistency and simplicity win over complexity and being sporadic. Do not invest too much in your content in the beginning unless you have lots and lots of money. If you're spending lots of money on some other platform, like broadcast media, like radio or TV, then I recommend you start shifting some of your marketing budget over until you can start getting good at social media, okay? Like start shifting it over. You don't want to go cold turkey perhaps, but the thing is, starting now and starting a bit rudimentary is better than starting tomorrow and starting perfectly. Just start, okay? Just start. Some of the most effective ad campaigns I've run in business, and I'm involved in business too, like I always have side things going on and and like I'm addicted to it, like most of you in this room are, okay? Some of my most effective ad campaigns on any platform are when I just take my phone and for like 15 seconds with no script, I just say, hey guys, my name is Stephen Earp and I'm doing this, and if you're interested in that, click the button below, I'd like to talk to you. I'm telling you. Like without the production and things like that, just recording it on your iPhone, okay? We've had great success with that. Let's see. Yes, consistency and simplicity win over being complex and being sporadic. Okay, there are two ways to dominate on social media. Be first or be remarkable. What do I mean by be first? Well, that's what I was talking about with like Francophone West Africa when they're just now rolling out certain functions there, and I told these leaders, I was like, you got to get on there now, because eventually in your country, everybody's going to be on this app, but they're not on this app right now. You see what I mean? Let me tell you a story. This was 2019, maybe. I don't know. I just made that date up. If you say it with confidence, people believe it, right? I don't know when it was, but at one point, the country of India banned TikTok. Does anyone remember that? Okay, so I'm sitting there with a social media influencer at my table, and I was discipling him, teaching him about Jesus, and we were working together on social media. And he said, hey, Steve, like, man, TikTok's getting real big with the kids, and I was thinking about, instead of spending so much time on Instagram and Facebook, maybe doing some TikTok. And I was like, man, India banned it. If India's going to ban it, pretty much everybody else is going to ban it pretty quick. Now, does anybody have any idea what's happening with TikTok right now? Do you know what I'm saying? He started posting these videos, and some of you have seen his videos, but he drives around. I'll say it, and you guys will know. He'll say, hey, is Jesus king, yes or no? And he drives around Oklahoma City taking these, and a lot of them have gone viral. He has like, 1 million followers on TikTok now, all organic. So getting on early makes a big difference, but then being awesome makes a big difference too. And don't think that you've missed it. Like whatever business you're in, there's some application for you in this. Do you get what I'm saying? Just figure out how to do it. Like your competitors are not likely killing it on social media, and if they are, like do it slightly differently. You see what I mean? So anyway, where are we? Okay, next. Studying the trends and trying to test the algorithms can help you with growth, but connecting with your audience is what gives you results. Better to have 100 people follow your page and you actually message all of them than 100,000 people and you're barely getting engagement. See what I'm saying? All right. One handshake is better than 100 phone numbers. I just made that up. I don't know. Ooh, look at that. Don't take that one, Tim. Yeah. Okay, next. Modern culture values authenticity over excellence. Excellence is a baby boomer value. Authenticity is what the world wants today. Was that offensive to anyone? No. Okay, it's reality. Just be real. Be real, okay? A lot of times unscripted is better, So modern culture values authenticity over excellence. Because here's why. It's because there's a lot of puffery in the world, right? In the 1960s, whenever the sales and marketing world started getting married to the psychology world and they started learning how to manipulate us with sales tactics, right? And like you go to the used car dealership, why do people not like used car dealers? Well, because you walk out there and you feel like they're a Neanderthal, Like, well, you know this deal's not going to be here tomorrow, right? Things like that. Those kind of tactics work temporarily. But people today are more sophisticated than that. You can't just BS people. All they have to do is, it's so funny. In the church world, sometimes some of the older pastors I know, great godly men, and I remember some of them complaining about some of these young people, like, look at their phones in church, and I'm like, they're checking to see if what you're saying is accurate. That's a good thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So, authenticity. All right, next, we're going to speed it up. Don't despise humble beginnings. If you have a small social media following, like, take care of all of them. Respond to every comment. Message all of them. Thanks for following our page. Why do you follow our page? What do you like about our page? See what I'm saying? Build a relationship with all of them. Next. You can't be successful if you're going to try doing social media. Social media is not just a marketing platform. Social media is a new cultural thing. That's like saying, I'm thinking about trying out cell phones, Like, there's this thing, a fax machine. I'm thinking about trying it. You know what I mean? How long should I give it to see if it really works, right? No, it's not going anywhere. You're going to do it poorly or you can do it well. See what I mean? But don't just think you're going to try it. Like, get on it, get committed, figure some things out about it. There are pieces of it that you'll like. Okay, next. Hiring or outsourcing your social media to someone just because they're young or just because they, quote, like social media is a bad idea. If you have people on your team and it's like, this is the young person, let's let her do the social media. Or this is a young guy, he really likes social media. You know what? I think he does the TikTok, Let's let him do it. That's a bad idea. Like, if you're the visionary of your business, like, dig in a little bit. Learn about it. Why are they on this platform? Why are people using this platform? How do they use this platform? All right, next. You don't have to be your target demographic in order to understand your target demographic. We've learned that. Some of you may know that already, but we'll go on the next one. Every target group, every culture, every demographic has some specific interests, platforms, and ways of reaching them online. Whoever your target demographic is, there's some way that you can reach them online. You just have to figure out what it is, okay? How are we doing? Okay, we'll keep going. Next, never stop learning. No one's an expert. I honestly, in the schedule, it says social media, what does it say? Social media master. I was like, oh man, I'm so not a master. I just work hard at it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it changes all the time. So when you approach social media, don't come in like a 10-foot tall teacher, walk in like a 2-foot tall student, right? Because it's going to change, and whatever you know today is not going to be relevant tomorrow. Next. When something starts working well, here's what happens. Something will start working well on social media, and then everybody will start doing it. And when everybody does it, what happens? Oh, please help me out. Yeah, it stops working. It's supposed to be that way. So what happens is the new thing comes along, you're going to stay on top of it. Is that helpful for anybody? Is that helpful? I hope so. Next. And you can't grow if you don't try new things. Next. Oh, yeah, there we go. I guess I'm done. Do what? Can we go back? Yeah, can we go back? So my goal is I really would like everybody in the room to have something you can use. So if you've already got something you can use, would you just show me by raising your hand? Something? There's so many people that didn't raise their hand. Okay, so I have 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. So what questions do you have? It could be specific. It could be general. Yes.
So on Instagram, do you do Instagram?
Yes.
With the reels, like they're really popular right now.
Yes.
Would you recommend posting every day, once a day, or twice a day?
That's a good question. The question is on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. Our largest Instagram account is called InstaScripture. We don't do a lot of reels on there, by the way, but so we are super active on Instagram. Reels, yes. And the question is, how many times should you post per day? I would say it this way: you cannot post too many times a day. I would say that. At least once a day. So you want to think about, I would do 7 days. People look at social media 7 days, so your 5-day work week is not relevant. And now you can schedule reels. You used to not be able to schedule reels, but using third-party tools now you can schedule reels. That's relatively new within the last month or so. Yep.
Is that on Facebook as well? Like that?
I would, yeah. So like if you have a Facebook account, honestly, you could just switch over to posting reels and your stuff will grow if you just post reels. So like I would do minimum once a day. If you do 2 to 4 times a day, it's not going to hurt you. The algorithms are designed so that if people don't like seeing your stuff very much, they're not going to overshow it. But if people love your stuff, they'll see more of your stuff. Some people disagree on that, but they're probably wrong about other things too. That was a joke too, by the way. One more question, go ahead.
With the reels, I noticed like what's popular is people reenacting the voices and putting their own like imagery along with the voice reenactment.
Yep.
Do you see the same thing?
Okay. Yes. The question is, and then we'll go back here. The question is, like, using trending things, is that the way to do well with it? Okay. Here's my perspective on trending. I could be wrong. I'm only an expert on my own opinion, okay? Using trends on TikTok and Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels, it's cool if it really fits in your industry. But sometimes it's a little bit too clever and not clear enough. So it's more important, in my opinion, to stay on brand and to continue to create content that's relevant for your audience and is relevant for you, rather than continually looking for the trends and like, here's a trending song, here's a, so that's what I would say there. But some businesses I have seen use it, but I don't use it. I think just share stuff that you want your audience to get and just keep doing that. And the people that love you will find you. Good question. Back here? My perspective, my experience is the algorithm will take care of that today. 6 or 7 years ago, it might have mattered what time of day you post. Now, I do not think it matters. I mean, think about open up any of your things, and you'll see stuff people posted yesterday or a week ago or 2 weeks ago. The algorithms are super smart. They're content based, and they're based on like what you enjoy. It's really winning right now. Social media is getting better and better and better because they're showing people what they want to see. And if they're not engaging with your stuff, it's because it's just your stuff's not been out there long enough, or maybe your audience doesn't like your stuff maybe. Over here. Yeah, that's a great question. Here's what so the question is, how do we duplicate our content without having to duplicate our work? Here's what we do on some platforms. We create the vertical content and we just natively upload it to TikTok, to Instagram, and to Facebook, and we use literally the same ones. Now, you can also upload it, let's say you upload it to TikTok, and then you can record that so it has all the TikTok stuff on there, and there are some apps like InShot, or some of you are higher tech than that, but like anybody can use something like TikTok, like a 13-year-old kid can use it, and you can, you remove the watermark and stuff like that. But that's what we do, is it's the same thing, we're gonna upload it here, here, and here. And like the more sophisticated you get, it's better, like you can tweak it for the different platforms so it fits better with the culture of the platform. But if all you can do is create the content and get it out there, then do that. That's a great question. Maybe I'm 19 seconds over. So we literally are negative 20 seconds. So I hope that you guys got something from this. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. I just want to wrap this up. Whatever business you're in, you can benefit greatly from engaging with people on social media. So my encouragement, get started on it. Just get started, okay? Expect to struggle. You have to be bad before you can be good at anything. And commit long-term. This is a cultural shift. And then besides that, I just say go for it. So God bless you guys. Thanks a lot.
All right. Stephen, thank you so much. Appreciate you, my friend. I'll take that, and I'll take that. Thank you. All right, let's give him another round of applause, guys.